Hello people, today we're going to do a look at an opal nail set. They didn't come out quite as opal-y looking as I would like, but I did my best. I'm going to start off with some prepped medium length stiletto tips, and we're going to give them one coat of white polish. We just need one coat because we're going to be piling all kinds of other layers of stuff on top of there. And you want to give it a very thin coat because, as you may or may not know, the white polish is notorious for wanting to wrinkle on you. And I just bumped it against the side of the polish bottle, so now I gotta straighten that out. Now this set, it really does look pretty in person, but I could not get a decent picture of it. I tried and tried. It just would not photograph very well. And at the time I was doing the photographs, we were having a rare rainy spell, so I couldn't go outside and get it in the sun. So the photograph really doesn't do them justice. But we will carry on anyway. And once I get this on here, we are going to then give them a cure. And in they go to cure, and whoop, we're all done. Okay, I'm just showing you, there is my alcohol pan. I put a no-lint wipe in the bottom of it, so when I'm cleaning my brush off, it gives the brush something to like scrape against to help clean the stuff off of it. This is now a base coat I'm going in here with, and I will base coat all of them except for the pinky. And then we will not cure that yet. I suppose I could have sped this section up, but oh well. Okay, and I'm going to straighten those little guys out. And then we're ready to move on to adding the Mylar bits to these. Now, this is the Mylar that I have. It's not the greatest, and it's kind of got really big chunky pieces in there, which did not work real well, but I had to go with what I had. So if you guys have the micro Mylar, that's what I would recommend using, because I think it would work a lot better. Now you can see I switched to a different brush because that other brush was just not working for me. And I'm just going to pick up the Mylar bits and put them on into the wet base coat. Now see, some of these, not only are they big, but some of them are like in big chunks where it's got a bunch of them wadded together. So I'm having a little problem with it. And also in hindsight, I would have put a lot more of the Mylar on and not left the big gaps in between as much as I did. But I'm going to put these on. This is the purple one, and you're going to try to get the smaller pieces down there near the tip of the nail where it's actually smaller. See, I should have filled that in a lot more Mylar. Now we're going to go on to the pink one. And it's basically going to be the same thing. I'd like to figure out a way to get these little bits to be smaller pieces without sitting there with the scissors and cutting them myself. Try to figure out if there's some kind of a shredder or grinder thing I could do little bits of stuff in, but I don't know. Okay, clearly that one escaped wherever it went. I don't know. Oh, there it is. Okay, we're just going to carry on, do the same thing with this one. Somehow I managed to get a big blob of something right in the middle of my mat down there. I don't know what that is either. It must be probably base coat, I guess. I think with this pink one is where I had issues with a lot of the Mylar being all wadded up in a big stack together. Wasn't coming off very easily. I wanted to do a separate, I had the 3 separate colors of Mylar I was going to use. So I have one that's purple and one that I wanted to do a pink, and then the next one will be blue. But when I get, you guys are only going to see this one rack. When I did the second rack, I put a lot more Mylar on the nails, and I think those ones came out a little better. And I've got a little piece stuck on the end of there that does not want to come off, so we're going to get rid of that one and get a new one. It's also stuck to the bottom of my tray now, and I didn't want to pick up easily. But anyway, the micro Mylars are going to be smaller bits, and therefore they're going to lay flatter. And you can probably eliminate a couple of the steps that I had to do on these. Okay, I guess I've decided that's enough on there. And then we'll do the blue one. I think the blue one and the finished nails came out the best of all the others. And the multi one too. That one came out pretty decent. Yeah, we're just going to do the same thing. Now see that? I don't know if that was it, but sometimes I'll get a big chunk that's just kind of bent up and all weirded out. It will just not lay flat. So when I get any of those, you'll see me just take them back off of there and wipe them off. But ideally, the little micro Mylars would have been better. All this particular batch of Mylar, I believe, came from AliExpress. I've got some other ones that are even bigger and chunkier than that I picked up at Walmart one day as I was walking through the craft aisle. I saw them. They're even curlier and bigger. They're harder to get on, to stay on. Okay, now on the thumb, I am going to put a little bit of each of the 3 colors on there. Again, putting the smallest pieces down there near the tip. Maybe that piece there is not going to work. Oh, maybe it did. Okay. And I apologize for the wiggly camera. I keep bumping my head on the darn thing. See, that one's a little curly. It may or may not end up staying on there. And that one's out. That one was a stack of a bunch of them crammed together. Sorry for the top of my head in there. Yeah, that's a really thick piece. That one almost looks like a piece of shell, but it is not. Actually, I have crushed shells. I suppose I could have tried to put some of those in there too. Now see, I have a lot more on this one, and I think that came out better in the end. That one was too big, so it's out of there. Okay, nope, I thought I was done, but I guess not. Just trying to get some little ones to fill in some of those. Okay, now I think I'm done. And we're going to put those in to let those cure now. And they're all out. And now I'm going to go over with base coat again. I'm going to put a pretty generous layer of base coat on here to help seal those in, and also to fill in some of the gap, some of the, make them smooth is what I'm trying to say. But I want to put a pretty good layer of this on here. So don't worry about the fact that some bits are sticking up or they're getting kind of bumpy and lumpy, because I'm going to fix that in a little bit here. But like I said, if you had the micro Mylar and they weren't parts sticking up and sticking out like that, you probably could eliminate at least one or two of these steps that I'm going to have to do here. Now I've cured that again, and now I'm going to go in with the top coat. I'm using a tempered top coat, and I'm going to put a very generous layer of this on there next. Now, I think I asked this last time, but if anybody knows what the difference is between a tempered top coat and a no-wipe top coat, I'd like to know. So let me know in the comments. This one cures with no tacky layer, so it seems exactly the same as the no-wipe to me, so I don't really get the difference. But this company does offer a no-wipe top coat and this tempered one. And I really like the tempered one. It works really well. Okay, we're going to cure that. And now I'm just going to show you filing on this one nail. But see how those bits are sticking way up now? Right there. I am going to go and take those, I'm going to file those bits down that are sticking up. And I'm also going to file the edges down to get my edges back to the proper shape. You don't need to do a real smooth, perfect filing on this because there's going to be more stuff going on top of here. But I just wanted to get all those pokey up bits off. Whoopsie. And I will do this on all of them. You're just not going to see me do all of them. Finish them off camera. I had a tough time getting some of these to stick on there. I guess I need to put some new blue tack stuff on. But that's what it will be like when you're done. Okay, and now I'm going to go in with this top coat. It's a top coat that has glitters in it. Now, if you guys watched my polar bear tutorial that was before this one, you will have seen me using some of this already. But this is the purple one in here. It really looks pretty in the pot, but when you get it on there, it's very subtle. It doesn't show up as much as I would have liked. So being that purple's my favorite color, I was a little disappointed in the way the purple nail came out, because it's not shown up very well. But I'm just going to get that on there. Now I'm going to be putting on a few layers of this, so it doesn't need to be totally perfect yet. Okay, also I am going to now take the pinky and I'm going to give it a layer of this. And I didn't do it with the purple. I don't know why. I wasn't paying attention when I did this part. But I'm also going to do that on the thumb, because what we want to end up with at the end is all three of the different colored top coat glitters on the pinky and the thumb. Like right now, I should have done one coat on that thumb, but I forgot. Okay, and this is the pinky one now. See if I can't get this up so you could see it a little better. See, this is the one that's got the pink in it. And that will go on the pink nail. And somehow it got cut out. Well, it goes on the pink nail. And here's the blue-green one that I put on the blue nail. Somehow I accidentally cut that other part out. Eesh. I think I did put it on the thumb too when I had the pink one going. This is the blue-green one. I think this is one of the prettiest ones of the lot. Okay, and I think that rack is ready to be cured. Yep, they're going to be cured, and now we're ready for the second coat. And I'm going to start off, since I already have that blue-green one, I'm going to start off with that one. So I don't think I cleaned my brush yet. But I'm just going to put a second coat on everything. But this time when I do the pinky and the thumb, I will use a different color than I first put on the first layer. So in the end, I will have one layer of each of the 3 glitter top coats on the thumb and the pinky. And it will start to build up and get a little bulky, but I'll take care of that a little later on. Now that one already had a layer of the purple on, which frankly you really can't see that well. And they don't show up great, like I said, on camera, but in person they are really pretty. Okay, I'm going to switch. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to put it on the thumb. Then I'll switch out to a different one. Now, I don't think I showed the third coat going on any of these, but there is 3 coats of this on each one. Also, which I did not show at the end of getting all these layers on here, I did not show the filing. But what I did was I went in and I took some of the bulk down off the side edges and got my shape back to right. And then I just buffed along the top edge. They weren't bumpy anymore or anything, but I just wanted to give a little bit more of a uniform surface to them. And plus I wanted to clear some of the bulk down off the sides because it did build up quite a bit. Here's the pink one that you didn't get to see earlier. And that is all been cured. Okay, wait, I did not do the filing and buffing yet. I forgot. I did this step first. Okay, we're going to make the milky kind of white to go over the top of them now. I'm just using the top coat that I used earlier. And I will get a little bit of the white that I started with. And we're going to just end up mixing just a little bit of that into the top coat so I can get kind of a sheer white. And a little tiny bit more in there. Okay, now I've got that mixed up, and now I will just go over all of them with a layer of this. It was after I got this milky white on there and cured that. That's when I did all the filing and the straightening out and the smoothing and all that, and the buffing and whatnot. Because if you look at these as I'm putting this on, you'll see there's a little lumpy bumpiness on the edges, and they're starting to get a little misshapen and bulky looking, but I'll fix that after this layer. Now, as I said before, if you had used the micro Mylar, and you could have probably eliminated the 2 steps of the base coat and the top and the filing during that part, because it would have been smooth. It wouldn't have had all those lumpy, bumpy bits sticking up. Because by the time you added the 3 layers of the top coat with the glitter in it, it would have smoothed itself out. But my bits were sticking up too far for me to do it that way. And frankly, it would have been a lot faster if I had the right stuff to use, but sometimes we just got to go with what we have. Okay, then I will give that a cure, and then this is where I'm going to do the reshaping with the filing and the buffing after they cure. And I've done all that. And now I'm moving on to the stamping. And this is Born Pretty Polish, glittery kind of. Now it's called Mist Pink, but it really is, it's really purple. So I don't know how that gets to be pink, but anyway, this is the stamping plate number. I think I got this off AliExpress. It doesn't have a brand name on it, so I know that's not going to be a lot of help for you guys if you wanted this plate, but now I didn't show it on this particular one, but I think I do on the next one. I'm only going to show you a couple of these because this is not really a stamping tutorial. Okay, I've picked that design up that I'm going to put on here on the thumb. I used a kind of a fatter one for the thumbs, and then I used on the other ones. But we're just going to pop that right on there. See, it has a metallic kind of sheen to it. And now I'm going to go on to this one, and now you can see what I'm doing, but I'm just putting the polish, the stamping polish on, scraping it off, picking it up with the stamper, and then cleaning off any excess stuff, which you can't really see me doing, but there's a little bit of it. Any of the extra bits that I don't want on there. And then just line it up where we want it and pop it right on. Okay, now once I got done with all of them, getting this design on all of them, I decided they looked unfinished and kind of plain, so I got this it's a glittery, it's a gel polish, it's really super fine glitter in there. I had this particular one in purple that I decided to go in with my detail brush and paint just like an outline just kind of around the design area in a little triangle and then across the top of the cuticle. Now there were a couple of these that I messed up and I had to wipe it off and start over because what I didn't do, some of my stamp designs are not exactly centered on there. So when I got the point of the triangle point on there, it wasn't lined up with the point of the stiletto tip and it looked really weird. So I just need to make sure you get your points to align properly. Otherwise it really makes it look off. And then I just went across the top of here. I thought about outlining the whole nail, but then I decided against it because I'm not a huge fan of that look myself. But you could do that. I mean, if you like that, it probably would look nice like that. Okay, and there it is, and I will cure that. That needs to have a cure. And I'll show you one more of these, and then I'll finish the rest off camera. This was the blue-green one that I thought came out the best looking as far as opaliness goes. I'll have to study up on doing them and get the proper stuff, and maybe I'll attempt another set at some point. But I had been wanting to do an opal set for a while now, and I was also trying to come up with something that was kind of wintry looking at the same time. And trying to avoid the whole snowflake thing because I think I've done enough of those this season. See this one, if you look at it, you can see how the point of this one is not exactly lined up with the point of the stiletto tip, and it looks a little odd. And okay, now we're ready to cure finally. That's what it's going to look like. And they are all cured now, and now we're going to go back and give them their final top coat. And you may be wondering why the pinky doesn't have anything, but we're going to do something with that here in a minute. But right now we're just going to top coat all these. Just a regular top coat layer. It doesn't need to be extra thick or anything. And even with the top coat on there, you can't see the opal part very well on camera. But trust me, it's there. Those two that you see, the thumb and that index finger, are the best looking ones. The pink one or the purple one did not come out as well. They don't show up as good. And I'm going to go ahead and top coat the pinky because we're going to be sugaring that. And this was a first for me. I hadn't done this before with the Caviar beads, so ended up with a bit of a mess all over the desk. But I've got these iridescent, kind of clearish looking Caviar beads, which I wanted to sugar on that little nail. I was hoping the opal stuff, the glittery stuff, would give it some more color, but it really didn't show up. But we're just going to basically do this like you would sugar with glitter. This was the next day I got to these last few steps. That's why I now don't have gloves on. In case you were wondering, my Christmas nails are kind of a lot worse for wear. They're going to be off of here in a couple days. Now, this part, don't do this with your bare finger like I just did, but I'm just going to shove those along the edge till they get shoved back up onto the nail, because the weight of them was kind of pulling them down. Plus I want to make sure they're kind of smooth and even. I don't have a bunch of extra bits of stuff sticking out. Now this part, I wanted to get the point to be, have it shaped better, and I had kind of a hard time getting that to shape up. I kept going back and forth and they just kept moving around. I'm just wiping those off as I get them pulled off of there. But I did have to fool around with the bottom edge a little bit to get the point to stay looking nice, because they just kept moving back and forth. Okay, and once that's done, I'm going to cure that whole rack. I'm going to give it a double cure, mainly so the Caviar beads get cured in there really well. And that will be the finished set. If you like this video, please give me a like, and if you want to see more, you can subscribe. I will be doing more. I try to put out one per week, and there'll be many more coming in the new year. My next set's going to be a recreation, so I hope I see you there for that, and thank you for watching.